So welcome everybody. This is going to be our 2018-2019 sort of recap thoughts slash preview show here for Star Wars The Old Republic.
So we're going to be going over what happened in 2018, and we're going to be going over what we hope will happen in 2019.
Yep.
So Kate Lee, I know you're really excited to do a short recap over what's going on last year in 2018. So what were some of the big highlights of last year?
Yeah, so I think it's for a video like this or for a stream like this, it's kind of good to go back and look what happened through 2018, and then that can maybe help us speculate what would potentially happen in 2019. So I actually went through all the patch notes for 2018 and grabbed every key feature that was added to this game. So I'm basically just going to roll through this here real quick. So starting on January 23rd, we had Game Update 5.7, which was Legacy of the Creators, which gave us the new operation boss of Skyva. So we were still kind of... I think it was BioWare's initial plan to have gods done in the end of 2017, but that ended up slipping over to the first couple patches in 2018.
And it was really, really delayed, wasn't it? We were actually expecting all the gods just to be released in a couple months or so between each other, but kind of slipped over to last year too, huh?
Yep. So that was update 5.7. We then move on to 3/2018, which was game update 5.8. Command Authority, that's where we got Isaacs, the final boss. And we also had the big Conquest revamp.
Have you gotten a chance to try out Conquest since they changed it? I used to do Conquest a ton, but that was a long time ago. I don't have time for it these days.
Not really. Our guild on SWTOR does invade planets, but as I'm just kind of playing about as normal, if I happen to do something, I do it, but I don't really try for anything special.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, yes, I managed to do something that gave my guild conquest points, and I got a cool pop-up, but that's about it.
Yeah. So from there, we'll move on to 5/3/2018 with game update 5.9. This is actually a pretty big one. The Anathema or Anathema conspiracy.
Yeah, and that was really nice. That wrapped up that final traitor arc, really put a cap on the Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne storylines. It really paved the way for us to be able to start something totally new with the next storyline.
Yep. And yeah, Timothy Zahn ended up writing that flashpoint in that little story, so that was really cool to see him back in the game. But after that, we then move on to 8.7, which was game update 5.9.2, Galactic Legends. This is where SWTOR started their summer of PvP. So we got the Rishi Hideout, we got the Mandalorian Battle Ring, and the Warzone and matchmaking changes.
That was actually a lot of stuff. It was a bit spread out when it was released, but it was really nice to see them give some focus on the part of the community that had been neglected for quite a while. Still lots of issues with PvP, desync, balancing, rewards, gearing, stuff like that, but I'm really happy they did take some time to put in some stuff specifically for PvPers.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's definitely one of the interesting things about this game is this game has got so many different types of content. Again, your PvP, your single player, your multiplayer, your flashpoints, your rating, and you know, each of those groups individually, they always want new content. And I think the PvPers had a pretty good gap there where they hadn't really received anything new. And so I think that's why SWTOR did their SWTOR Summer of PvP.
It's just one of our natural downfalls of being part of an MMO versus a single-player game. There are going to be thousands of players all interested in different aspects of a really large game.
Yep. So on 10/2/2018, we had update 5.9.3, and this is where they ended the summer of PvP. That was Fame and Fortune, and we got the new Vandin Hutball map.
I haven't actually went into that one yet. I haven't been doing a lot of PvP lately. Have you jumped into it yet?
I think I tested it on the test server, but I don't know if I've played it since. Maybe a round or two or
actually, I
something.
did the same thing in the test server as well.
Yeah, I think actually going back to 5.9.2, I think we tested that Mandalorian Battle Ring. Right.
Yeah, well, I don't know if tested is the right word. I kind of just ran around taking screenshots. So I'm also pretty sure Keith Koenig was in that war zone with us and
Yes.
allowed me to run around and take screenshots.
But after all of that, we then rounded out the year on 12/11 with game update 510, which is Jedi Under Siege. New storyline, new daily area. We got the new planet of Osis. They also got the master mode gods from the machine, plus the new guild system, guild perk, guild interface, and then the masterwork gear. So
Wow, that
510
was
at
such a killer update. Like, obviously, this year has been a bit light for content. It's been nice because they kind of split it up a little bit for everyone, a little bit of PvE, a little bit of story, a little bit of PvP. But at the end of the year, God, that was such a great update to see happen. It was, I've been wanting to write some more videos about, is SWTOR worth playing? Is SWTOR worth returning to? Is SWTOR worth subscribing to? Stuff like that. And I was really waiting to see whether that update showed me that they were going to grow the game or if they're going to start scaling back. And that update really felt like a definite positive. Yes, the game is going to grow, and they're definitely working on the expansion for 2019. And do you think I don't see that Fuzzy Yoda, young man?
he just has to say hi, basically.
So I know you've played Osis, and I've played Osis, and we've talked about it a bit before. We both liked it. It's a bit short, but it really is meant to be a prelude story. You got to show me that Datacron last time we were streaming. I was very excited about the explorational aspect of it, and the guild perks was also something that was a much needed addition. We said before, these are the types of things the game should have had from day one. For example, now guild leaders can in-game mail all of their members. Really awesome. Our guild has already tried that out a couple times. The mail has like a special symbol behind it, so you can even see that it's a mass mail from your guild. The guild leveling thing is pretty cool. For our conquests, when we used to play in the past, they would just kind of disappear. After the conquest is gone, it's just gone forever. Congratulations, you got your title or whatever. But for the guild, it didn't stick in any way. So for having a guild level to really show how we've worked on stuff over time and to get those kind of guild perk rewards are a nice little bonus. We also really appreciate some of the tools, like the new logging tool. We've had trouble with, our members are super generous when it comes to our guild bank. Like, people put hundreds of thousands of materials into the bank just to share, and they're kind of open for taking. But every once in a while, someone would get sneaky, someone would be a bad person and go take them, and we'd have a really hard time tracking them down. But with the new log system, it's really nice. We don't have to worry about whether someone left or they accidentally got kicked out or something like that. It says exactly right there. We can see who invited people. It's just a lot nicer system right now. I'm really happy they added it. It's not necessarily the type of update that will bring new players or make more money, but it's really, really gracious towards existing players, especially towards guild members.
Yeah. And they're not even done yet. There's going to be more added this year.
Yeah, they're working on the guild heraldry syndrome. Guild heraldry
syndrome
system. That one I'm also really excited for. Our guild also plays a lot of other MMOs. One of the ones we play is Guild Wars 2, and I was playing that game actively when they added their own heraldry system, and I was so excited. It was very cool. We got to like make our design, and then we got to vote on it. So we pick one for our guild. You get to pick the colors. I assume that SWTOR's is going to be something very similar. Probably won't be able to draw free form, but you will be able to combine all different types of symbols from the game.
Yeah, can't wait to see what they do with it.
So what else? Anything else happened in 2018 last year?
No, that's basically it. That's the core features. You know, and of course with every patch they had bug fixes and class balance changes and all that stuff. But yeah, that right there, that's the core feature. And see, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 patches.
Yeah, that's
spread out.
So it's not there. We will always want more content more frequently. There will never, I think, even if they release content every single day of the year, 365, we'd still be crying for more. But a lot of players have felt that it was a bit light this year. I think I agree with them, but it is nice that there was steady updates. It wasn't like we went a whole half a year without anything going on or anything like that.
Yep.
So, what are some of the things that did not happen in 2018 that players were maybe expecting? So, one of the things that we were wondering if it was going to happen or not near the beginning of the year, would there be a end of year December expansion? That did not happen. Luckily, we're looking forward to one in the future. Is there anything else that you were expecting for 2018 that didn't happen?
Well, I think something that they mentioned fairly early in the year that didn't end up making it in was actually the weapons in the outfit designer.
Mm-hmm. On their wall of crazy, if I remember right, they were very clear. They were like, "Don't take this as a promise. We'll cry, but it's on our wall of crazy. We want to do it. We just, apparently, it's a difficult thing to do."
Yeah, I know in the past they've said, or at least they've given us some hints about how some of this stuff works on the back end. And I think they said that like the gearing database is different than, other databases they have in the system. And that's why it's so difficult for them to do. But yeah, regarding that in particular system, they have just said that, as you said, they want to do it, but they just have to figure out how to get it into their schedule. So.
I have a strong suspicion that the developers love Space Barbies of the Old Republic just as much as many of the players do. So at least Keith Koenig, it sounded when he was talking about it like something he personally would really like to have in the game as well. So it's purely from a technical man hours point of view that they haven't added it.
Yep.
So is there anything else you can think of that didn't happen in 2018 that you wanted to see?
Yeah, as far as I can think of, things that we were sort of expecting, or maybe the stuff that they've talked about, that's really all that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, me too. So I want to say something about 2019, Kid Lee. We should have a 2019 giveaway right now.
Sounds like an excellent idea.
So let me take a look at what's on the cartel market today. Okay, so there is a really nice mount on the cartel market right now. Do you want to give that away plus a dread seed tuning because they match?
Sure.
Okay, Kid Lee. So for someone who hasn't been to your stream before, first off, hello everybody. Hope you're doing great. If this is your first stream that you've ever attended, we are actually talking live right now, and you guys can talk back to us in chat. Kid Lee, wave hi in chat so the nice people can see.
We gotta be careful. I mean, we don't want him to talk back to us.
Oh yeah, saucy little chat members, gosh. So Kid Lee is going to host a giveaway, and if you're watching this live on Saturday the 12th of January, you can enter the giveaway. So what do people have to do to enter? And they can enter from any server, any level, any class, it doesn't matter.
Yep. So for giveaway number 1, there's going to be a keyword, and the keyword is actually going to be SWTOR 2019, all as one phrase. So if you type that into chat, that will get you entered in for the giveaway. So
SWTOR 2019. And we're going to give away the really cool looking ghost-like mount on the GTN. It's got kind of a red see-through transparent color to it. And we're going to be giving away the Dread Seed tuning, which is really cool looking. Hey, Kinley, we should actually meet up in game. Do you want to go to Ilum? It's really pretty there.
Yeah. Probably Republic side.
No, I remembered you are a Imperial dog, and I came to your side this time on Satil Shan.
Okay, let me switch servers. I was on Malgus.
Oh my god.
Switch over here.
We're not even on the same server. That's talk about being on the wrong page. Also, my game may have just crashed, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, here we go. We're fine. Sweet. So everyone's entering the giveaway. And now, so apart from the giveaway, what else are we looking forward to in 2019? Do you have any kind of general wishes for 2019 for SWTOR?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple different ways that we can take this. I'm going to go to Ilum here real quick.
Me too. I'm on my way.
Oh, wrong zone. Funny enough, this morning in my stream, we were actually talking about a Battle Royale mode a little bit.
Yeah, I know you were really excited about a Battle Royale in a different MMO. What was that, and how did it go? And how do you think it could relate to SWTOR?
Well, that's actually was my big question, because I've talked about, other PvP modes or a Battle Royale mode in SWTOR before. But for a Battle Royale mode in particular, it's always I don't know how they could do it. So
Right now, we have so many technical problems when it comes to PvP. There's desync, even when there's just a few players together, when someone's not quite where they are and your ability doesn't quite line up to when you press it to when it actually happens, stuff like that. And we know in the past they've tried huge, large-scale PvP on Ilum, actually, where we're going right now, but they ran into technical problems when too many players get together. The game gets really laggy, and that's just the fault of being an older engine, being a slightly older game compared to some newer MMOs. Like, it is what it is. It's not going to change, and they more have to work within their limits than go all crazy and make something new.
Yeah. So basically, what I found out from playing this other MMO and their battle royale that they're testing is I now know how SWTOR could do it, and that was sort of the big thing that I was talking about this morning. So
do you mind talking about it shortly again for those of us who are not here this morning?
I think it could be done in SWTOR, and like you were just saying, the biggest issue with PvP in this game is you get too many people together. Even 16-person raiding can be rough. But at least with a battle royale, it's a pretty good sized map, and if you have 50 people spread, it's almost like Ilum as an example. Think of Ilum, which I don't have uncovered on this character. Think of Ilum as
level are you, like level 2?
I've just never been here, apparently. But I think Ilum would actually be the appropriate size for a battle royale map. And again, you could easily have 50 people on Ilum and not have a lag problem. But, as a battle royale goes, you're basically taking the play area as people get eliminated, and you're shrinking the play area a little bit. And so I think that would actually work for this game. But the core idea of how Ashes of Creation is doing their battle royale, and again, this was the hard part, was how do you do gearing, how do you do the class? And so what Ashes is actually doing is when you go into the battle royale, you're actually jumping in as a neutral class, and you then become the class based on what weapon you loot in the battle royale.
Oh, so would you, like, if you pick up a lightsaber, would you become a Jedi Knight or something like that?
Yes.
That's kind of crazy. Like, do you think there would be simplified abilities? Because there is no way if I picked up a lightsaber, I would know how to play a Jedi Knight right now.
Yep. And so this is what Ashes is doing that could easily be copied over, except, the SWTOR version obviously is. You would then pick up the lightsaber, and you would only get like 5 abilities, like the main rotation.
Yeah, kind of like how in those uprisings and some of the recent Flashpoints, you pick stuff up and you get some extra bonus abilities, and there's only a couple.
Yep.
That I can see something like that working. I wonder how that would work from BioWare's end. Like, is this something they could actually do, or are we just kind of daydreaming? It seems a lot more plausible than the kind of world PvP that we've had before.
Yep.
So we know what happened in 2018, and we've got some kind of general wishes for 2019. What do we actually know is coming next year, or this year in 2019?
Well, we know there is an expansion that is coming. It is confirmed, 6.0. And we know that it is going to be Republic versus Empire. And we've already seen the preview to that with the new OSIS stuff.
Okay, real talk. When do you think this expansion will come out? When I first heard them announce it, was that like halfway through 2018? I don't remember. It was during like a live stream. And then I was thinking, it'd be really cool if it was summer 2019, because then people could play it on summer break if they're in school or in college. What do you think now that we haven't heard anything about it and it's January 2019?
I think it's going to be announced at Star Wars Celebrations.
I think you're right.
At the Cantina. We might even get a new Blur trailer.
Do you think we're going to get one? They're so cool, but so expensive to make.
And I think that we will have a release date in July, August, in that general area.
So you think it's going to come out in summer as well?
Yep.
I'm starting to wonder and worry, and I think they might be shooting for winter 2019, like Christmas break. But I guess we'll see. We're going to know fairly soon, I would think, if they're going to announce it in Star Wars Celebration. That's going to be April 2019 in Chicago. So we don't have to wait too long for some more news.
Yep. Yeah, the only issue with a holiday release for the SWTOR expansion is we have to go back a couple of years ago and BioWare actually talked about this for those who are unfamiliar, but any other major Star Wars projects, movies, video games,
yeah,
whatever.
we'll be fighting with like a new movie if one comes out this year, which I really hope it does.
Yep. Eric actually, it was either Eric or Charles or somebody said that there's something like a 2 to 3 week bubble around any of that stuff where they cannot release.
It makes sense.
Stuff.
You don't want to cannibalize different parts of your company and your brand. That would be absolutely silly. I really loved the release of the movies during the winter time. It just felt like a Christmas tradition after going to Force Awakens and the other ones. I really hope it is. Solo being released in the beginning of the year was just very strange for me. Like, it didn't feel like a special treat to go see it.
Yep. So we got the movie coming out, so there's the bubble around that. We also
do we know if there's going to be a movie this year for sure?
Well, again, I think this is going to be a Star Wars Celebration thing, but
yeah, probably.
I think they'll go back to their December time slot for that.
I think you're right too. So we know we're going to get that expansion. We know very, very little about it. They've been very coy about it. We don't know if that's because there's not much to share, or if it's because they really want to hammer down what's in it and not accidentally promise things that don't happen. So we know it's going to be Republic versus Empire, like Kid Lee said, and we know it's probably going to focus on also Jedi versus Sith, because we saw quite a bit of that in Osis, I would say. Do you think that's right, Kid Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's about it. So there's all kinds of things that we can wish will be in that expansion. Traditionally, during past expansions, they have added lots of different things to the game along with it. So for like the Rise of the Cartel expansion, we also got the Seeker Droid and Macro Binoculars missions, which they're love and hate. I really like them for the explorational aspect, and they added some cool new quests to the game that were not directly related to the expansion. We know last expansion, the Knights of the Eternal Throne, we got a whole new gearing system. Whether that was a good idea or not, it was clearly something they'd spent a lot of development time adding. So we know that very likely, apart from just a new storyline, Republic versus Empire, we're probably also going to get some other fun stuff. So let's talk about our wishes for 2019 in general and what we hope will be in the next expansion. So, Kid Lee, can we actually wish to finish that giveaway and start a new one?
Yes.
So I'm actually showing it off right now in front of you. I'm wearing the Dreadseed tuning. I think it's super cool because when you pull out your weapon, it actually shows on your character. And then the other thing we're going to give away, I don't think this is new. It's just really nice. It's just a basic red speeder. If you look really close, it has you can see the engine and stuff inside, and it has also like a pulsing red animation across it. So obviously it looks really good together. And yeah, I see a player nearby to us. Hi there, player. If you guys want to come be on the video, you're welcome to. We're on Ilum. We're on the Satil Shan server. We're near the Imperial base, so you could probably get here if you're Republic, but it's gonna take you a while, and you have to be very careful.
Does that mount have a flare?
Oh, you know what? Let's it's Control F or something like that? Alt F? I always forget. Shift F? Nope, I don't think so. None of those works for me.
Yeah, Control Z maybe?
Control Z?
Or Alt Z, one of the two.
Alt Z? Alt Z turns off my UI. That's not the
right.
One. No, I don't think this one does. I don't think this is a newer one. Oh, sweet. So our random buddy here does have a mount with a what's it called? Mount flare?
Yeah.
I'm having a brain fart. So that was one of the cool things they had in 2018 too, was that dynamic mount colors. We're still waiting to see more of what they do with it, since there's only like one mount that works with it right now. So who won, Kidley?
Okay, the winner's name will appear in chat. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. SWTOR John, are you here?
That's an easy name. Congratulations. Put it in the chat. Give me a little bit of a drum roll. Yay, rigged, says SWTOR John. So SWTOR John, I am going to send you a link to fill out so I can send you your stuff. Can we start another giveaway while we talk about what we wish for 2019, Kidley?
Yeah, let me do that here real quick. Alrighty, let's do...
I'm whispering SWTOR John.
All right, next giveaway. The keyword is going to be 2019 Star Wars, all one word.
2019 Star Wars. So, Kid Lee, go on the cartel market and pick something for me to give away. I was lazy the first time and just picked the things that were featured today.
Let's see. What's another fun... Actually, what we could do... Actually, since we're on Ilum, this ice mount's pretty cool.
Ice mount?
Yeah, the Volptilla.
Oh, the new mount. Yeah, that one's really neat. Here, let's go find it. Hang on. Volptilla. Is that one still for sale? Yes, it is. I see some invisible lightsabers floating around. I'm gonna unlock it so I can show it off too. There we go. This one's really neat. It's got some really nice glow to it. It's got some crystal shards all over it. I think it came out like less than a month ago, fairly recently.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Kid Lee, in terms of 2019, what are you hoping when it comes to story will come out? What are your wishes specifically about the story campaign?
Yeah, I think over the last couple of years, the SWTOR team at BioWare, they've really sort of taken a lot of feedback from the community on, you know, what works for us, what doesn't work for us, and so forth and so on, even on their end as well. So I think we're going to probably get a really solid story. I think for the most part, most everybody that I know liked the little OSIS.
Yeah, the only really
preview.
complaint I heard was it was short.
Yeah,
it's about half hour to an hour, but then you can do it on the opposite side too. But they really were very clear when they were talking about it. It's just supposed to be a little prelude thing. So do you think they've learned a lot from what they released? The last expansions were a little more controversial. Some people really liked them. Some people felt they departed too much from the classic Star Wars, the Old Republic style. Do you think they'll learn from that? And what do you think they'll bring to the next expansion story?
Yeah, and I think people saying that it's too short, I think that's a good thing because they want more because they liked it.
That's true. That's definitely true. Please, more.
Yeah, give us more. But yeah, I think, and I don't know how much of this we want to get into at this point, but I think we will probably see another full planet, if not two full planets. I think they're going to go...
Yeah, kind of like Shadow of Revan, where we got Rishi and Yavin 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this 6.0 expansion is going to be one of the biggest expansions that we've seen, maybe ever.
Do you think so? Really?
If not,
I still like worrying that it's going to be on the smaller side because, like I said, there were so few updates last year. Do you think they're really going to go like 110% all in this time?
I think they are. And Charles Boyd said during the recent Bad Feeling interview that between now and the expansion, they don't know if they're going to have time to do any more preview story stuff.
Yeah,
so I think for the first part of 2019, they're putting everything they've got into the expansion.
I really hope so. That's for sure.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a really good expansion that's going to want people to, or people are going to want to come back to the game.
I think so. I think that's true. I think they're really tapping into the nostalgia after what we saw in OSIS and them promising for it to be Republic versus Empire. So I think it's really going to draw back a lot of launch players and players who kind of turned away from the game because they didn't like the last storylines. So we had in OSIS, it was really nice because we had for the first time in a long time back to having one Imperial story and one Republic story, and they were quite different from each other. Like you'd really want to go play both. You wouldn't feel like you're repeating yourself. So do you think they're going to go back to that for the expansion? Do you think they're going to go back to 8 class stories? Do you think it's going to be back to Knights of the whatever expansions where there's just one main path?
Class stories. That's always the tough one.
I don't think they can do it at this point in the game. Too much work to do it for each class, especially because we have so many different departure points and like decisions we've made in the past.
Yeah. We are going to have 2 stories. I'm pretty certain of that.
I think so too.
Yeah, if they do anything for classes, I mean, they know that people want class stuff.
Yeah.
It might be a little, here's a 30-minute, here's a 60-minute little thing, but other than that, I don't think we'll see anything major. And again, maybe it could be a companion thing as well. It's like, oh, you and a couple of companions, here's a side story of, you know, something that's going on, or, you know, whatever. I didn't lose you, did I? Oh, time out, everybody. What is going on here? Skype? I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect, guys. Hold on one second. Doo-doo. Yeah, I think Swtorista might be having some internet issues today. For whatever reason, Discord won't even work for her at all. Oh, let me try and reconnect her. Trying to reconnect her. Once again, we do have a giveaway that we are currently doing. If you type the word 2019 Star Wars into chat, that will get you entered in for said giveaway. Giving away one of those ice cat mounts. Oh yeah, Swtorista actually disconnected from the game too, so her internet may have gone down. I'm actually going to answer a couple of questions that were in chat. Let me actually scroll back up here for just a second. Yeah, once again, for anybody who's just popping in, I am talking with Swtorista. Just kind of hanging out, talking about 2018, 2019, and our thoughts about SWTOR in general. I think when she reconnects to the game, that'll give me the telltale sign of she has her internet back. Somebody asked, do I think they will upgrade the engine for SWTOR? No, they will not. Well, okay, let me back up. Are they going to put the game on a new engine? No, they never will. At that point, they're just going to create a new game. Are they going to upgrade the hero engine? The answer to that is yes, they always do that. They're always upgrading the engine. And in fact, the developers have actually said that at this point, you can't even really call it the hero engine because they've modified it so heavily. It's basically pure custom at this point. But they're always messing with it. They're always tweaking it. You know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you have any other questions, just let me know and I can answer anything that you guys are wanting to ask. Let me check Twitter here real quick. Oh, apparently a family member unplugged Swtorista's router. So she should be back here in just a minute. That's funny. Ah, okay, here we go.
Well, that was unfortunate. Someone in my family was just cleaning and accidentally unplugged the router. I was like, what the heck happened? Okay, we are back. I'm logging back in. What did you guys talk about while I was gone?
I've just been answering some questions in chat.
Did chat ask, what happened to Swtorista? Did she die? Did they ask, when is this giveaway going to end? And I demand right now is the answer.
Never. It will go until the end of time. All right, we're going to close that giveaway here real quick. The winner's name will appear in chat. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ta-da! Sister John says Swtorista took care of the family member. No, I like my family, even if they unplug the router. I'm loading in. I see we got a whole party here. Hey everybody who came to Ilum on Satil Shan. So common question we get asked is, what is your main server? Kidley actually plays a little all over the place. Like he said earlier, he was on Darth Malgus and we switched over to Satil Shan, and I'm mostly on Starforge.
Another question I'm going to ask or answer here real quick. Somebody, do you think they will do a new game with a new engine?
No, absolutely not. I see this asked all the time saying, they should do a new engine. If they don't do it, it means they don't care about the game. But doing this game on a new engine would be literally starting from scratch on a new game. They could only keep like less than 10% of what they've made. Just like the voice lines would probably be the only thing they could keep. They would have to reconfigure everything, recode everything, probably redo all the graphics to fit whatever engine they're making. They could keep like the concept art. That's not exactly like a huge portion of the entire game that they can keep. And so if they ever do say they're going to make Star Wars The Old Republic with a new engine, I would be very worried because I would assume that they're actually going to be making a different game with that engine. If they ever make a new Star Wars MMO, I have a strong suspicion it would be based in the movie timeline because more players are going to be familiar with the Darth Vader, with the Rey, with Luke, and all that type of stuff, and would be more willing to try a game with them versus a game where they know is Star Wars but don't really understand the setting as much. So my honest prediction, as both someone who's been playing this game for a long time as well as someone who does do a bit of development, it's not going to happen. Stop asking for it, stop wishing for it, stop saying it should happen. It's just kind of a waste of your time and dreams.
Yep. Yeah, the winner of that last giveaway, Swtorista, will probably send you a message here in a minute.
Hey, who won? I didn't even look, sorry.
It was...
Moi. Hey.
Yeah, Moi. Going to my Twitch dictionary on this one.
How to say Moi. Oh, I have to refresh my Twitch. Everything went a little crazy when the router came. Everything was changed.
But yeah, for those who don't know, I mean, in general, you're kind of talking about just new Star Wars games. They are actually working on several new Star Wars games. There is one coming out this year. It's actually called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So it's going to be a big single-player RPG kind of thing. But that one is going to take place after Episode 3. So they are doing new games on new engines, but just like Swtorista said, I don't know if they'll ever do another Old Republic-style game. We'll have to see.
But, I mean, that's not the worst thing. So when people say they want a new engine, there is some stuff that this game simply can't handle. Like we said earlier, the giant PvP, better optimization, like making better use of the newer computer parts and newer graphics cards and stuff like that for better graphics. But this is... The game, for me at least, looks really nice on Ultra. But there are some people who don't like the visual style. I mean, if they ever redid SWTOR on a new engine, we don't even know what type of art style they would pick. For all we know, they would continue keeping this kind of semi-realistic, semi-cartoon kind of style, and that wouldn't make people happy who are asking for new graphics in the first place.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to talking about story. So we're both guessing that we're going to have a Republic and an Empire storyline. Maybe we'll get something like we got in Shadow of Revan, a very small class story for each class, something small that can be kind of slotted into the main storyline but not actually affect it. Here's a big question for you, Kidley. Do you think for Imperial characters, do you think your character will be able to ascend either to the Imperial throne like Empress Asina, or do you think they'd be able to get or re-get back on the Dark Council if they're a Sith or anything like that?
I'm going to say probably no on that, because if they do that, I think that limits their story options a little bit, maybe. When you have other characters in those positions, you can do some more interesting story stuff, perhaps.
Yeah, because you can only choose your own options. You can't be surprised by things other people do if you're the Emperor or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But I think, kind of going back to what we were saying a little earlier, I just hope that we get at least one big new planet, maybe two big new planets. And I kind of hope they go old school with them, too, to where it's like, all right, here we have our main story. Then maybe they even have a planetary story, and then here's even some side quests.
That would be nice. That's very similar to Rishi and Shadow of Revan, huh?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you're hoping to see in the upcoming story, Kidley?
In the upcoming story. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with... And is this a spoiler at this point? Should I say the M word?
I would please not. Not everyone's had a chance to play Osis, I assume.
Yeah, that's true. So the person who must not be named, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that character.
Yeah, I'm very curious as well. I'm sure they'll do plenty with them. In terms of spoilers, I would suggest playing the Planet of Osis as soon as possible. Those of you who have been waiting or anything like that, because they are going full tilt on these spoilers for that one. Yeah, don't worry. We won't say anything in the stream. We promise. It's Lord Voldemort on Osis.
It is. Avada Kedavra.
Kabam. Yeah. So me and you don't seem to have like any huge specific wishes for the actual storyline. I'm just kind of happy that they're doing it, I guess. I'm glad they're working on it. I'm willing to try and enjoy pretty much anything they make at this point.
Yeah, I just want it to be good, because even if we go back
it has
to
be good, though.
yeah, even if we go back to the chapters, and it's like, you know, Knights of the Fallen and that stuff. It's like some of that stuff was really good, and there's some of it that I didn't like, and some of it was too grindy.
Points. Yeah, they were really kind of finding their path with the first few chapters, especially. They hadn't really decided or tested, I guess, tested the waters. But I liked a lot of the second expansion chapters, because they really cut the fat, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because they went from 16 chapters in the first one down to 9 in the last one. They definitely kept it shorter, and to me, sweeter as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Do you think they're going to do story chapters, or do you think they're going to go back to previous expansion styles like open world? Because there's some huge pros and cons to both. Like, I love going out in the open world and seeing other people and running around and stuff like that, instead of just quick traveling everywhere. But I really love the chapters being replayable, as well as having the difficulty modes. Being able to play the difficult modes of the latest expansion was so much fun to me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure BioWare has said they'd never do chapters again.
Really?
I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they said that in an interview.
I know they specifically said they won't do chapters in like monthly releases. Is that what you're remembering? Yeah, so they're never going to...
I think it was both, maybe.
Well, I hope they make them replayable, whatever the next story is. Just one giant chapter you can replay.
Yeah, maybe.
So now that we've talked about story, let's talk about group content. Kidley, what are you hoping for in terms of group stuff like flashpoints, operations, PvP, or anything new? You said before that you really wanted to see if they could try out Battle Royale style.
Well... All right, you can kind of split this into two different areas. It's like what I want versus what I think we're gonna get, maybe.
What you think and what you think we should get too.
Yeah.
Number 3.
I think we're gonna get at least one operation, if not 2. I think we'll get at least 3 flashpoints, and I think we're gonna get probably 2 new daily areas with a total of, let's say, 5-6 heroics. That's kind of my broad scale for just the planets.
Oh, I never even really thought about the planets because the last 2 expansions were so solo focused. I haven't really even thought about group content in terms of the storyline stuff.
But I'll tell you my number 1 wish, though, for 2019 when it comes to group content, and I've talked to the devs about this. I think there's other BioWare influencers that have talked to the devs about this. And that is PvE space content.
Oh, we have PvE space content, Kidley.
That doesn't count.
But you mean with like a group, right? Like true PvE operation kind of style, right?
Yeah, and again, whether or not they want to use the player ships, if they want to use the ships that I'm showing on the screen here.
So when they're adding something big and new, they add it to entice new players to try things out and to keep old players playing. Do you think space PvP would bring back a lot of people or entice new players to try it out? Especially since we had Galactic Starfighter be such a flop in terms of popularity.
Yeah. And so basically the concept that I have for this is there's a couple different ways they could do it. And again, this kind of goes down to what I think they would do versus what I would want them to do. Mm-hmm. If they were to do this, what I think they would do is they would actually do Flashpoint and or raid style content out in space.
Yeah. When I was
So
thinking it, I was thinking more operation style. Like you
yeah,
have to have 8 people, it has to be this big long thing, but it would be neat to have just like some 4-man dogfighting space PvE missions.
yeah. So yeah, the idea that I have is basically they would make up space flashpoints. You would then queue up for the flashpoint, and you could select, you know, again, potentially a fighter from this list that I'm showing on screen here. And you basically are just going up with your friends, and you're just doing PvE space battles. And there's objectives, and there's story content, and maybe you have to land on a Star Destroyer or whatever. You get off, you disable it, you get back off, you destroy it. And so there's so much that they could do with that. And I just,
Yeah.
you know, adding the Star Wars back into Star Wars.
Add the space back to space.
Yeah.
So like I said before, I don't know if it would ever be worth it for them to ever work on GSF again, just because they had such a bad experience the first time around. Like, lots of people really love it. So anyone who's listening to me talk so negatively about it, I have heard so many players be so passionate about it and be super into it. And it's a very unique aspect of the game. So it's something worth trying out at least once or twice, just in terms of compared to the other parts of the game where you're actually as your character, it's a lot less popular. So I think they're probably done with it, is my guess. What are you hoping for? Are you hoping for any operations or flashpoints or the more traditional stuff?
A little bit of everything. I would love to see a couple of really solid operations. And I'm a big flashpoint person, for anybody who doesn't know that. I think a lot of the flashpoints that came with the game are still some of the best flashpoints out there. Like Mandalorian Raiders and Red Reaper and some of those.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking for them to do more flashpoints that are kind of on that level.
On par, yeah. Like, I really, really love the Ilum flashpoints, especially the False Emperor. That one is just so cool to walk into with friends, and it has such a story element, and the fights are fairly fun as well. How do you think we've kind of had interesting experiences with flashpoints the last little while? The last 3 Before OSIS was released, the last 3 story updates were delivered in the form of a flashpoint. Do you think they'll do that again? It's been kind of weird that flashpoints are story content versus just specifically group content these days.
Yeah, hopefully not. I thought that was not a good idea. I think they were maybe limited on their time, money, and resources, and so they were trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And
I think so too.
For me, it didn't work.
I think it killed 0 birds. Well, to be fair, I have run Umbara on some of the harder modes with friends, and it was fairly fun. But as solo player content, I can't say I loved it.
Yeah.
But if it was that or nothing, I would definitely pick some story / flashpoint things.
Yeah.
I'm giggling about the comments in chat. Sorry. So, do you run a lot of operations, or is it just every once in a while thing for you?
I used to be a hardcore raider several years ago, and I have basically done everything I want to do when it comes to raiding, so I do it very casually now.
I'm doing it. I used to do it super hardcore like you, and now I do it about once a week with my group. So I'm still super into operations. I'd probably still say they are my favorite part of the game. The group content where you really have to work together and talk to your team. I love the social / tactical aspect of that. So operations being released has been a really sore point in the last 2 to 3 years. When we had the Shadow of Revan expansion, we got 2 really solid, really fun, really unique operations that I think pretty much everyone can say that they liked who enjoys operations, and they were very cool. They were worth releasing. They weren't like story / flashpoints kind of make do things. And then there was at least a year where they didn't release any operations, if not much longer. I'm bad with time. At that point, I was actually so upset about the direction of the game, so unimpressed with the focus on only solo story, that I actually unsubscribed for like 6 months. I was like, I'm gonna vote with my dollar on this one, deal with the preferred restrictions until they start bringing things back around to the MMO part of things where you do things with other people. But so since then, I resubscribed once I think they released Knights of the Eternal Throne, and they started releasing single bosses with months in between them. It was kind of a weird thing. I think their options were to either wait a whole another year to release any operations or just to kind of string them along like that. Personally, I think that was the best option. It was much better than waiting a whole nother year for anything. But it's still a really weird and kind of worrying thing that they did. So what I'm hoping for this expansion is they release at least one. I would be overjoyed with two, but I won't cry about just one. One solid, completely finished story and hard mode operation that is as enjoyable as the ones that came out with Shadow of Revan. Don't get me wrong, Gods from the Machine is really cool, but it is very chaotic. It is crazy. It's just like I'm trying to remember all the different parts in my mind, and I'm like, oh my god, there's too much going on. But they were very fun the couple of times I got to try them.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would say that, and again, like I said earlier, I don't hardcore raid anymore, but I think of probably all the flashpoints they have, or not flashpoints, operations that they've released, I think Gods is probably the one that I like the least.
Yeah, and it's really weird because it's probably the one that they worked the hardest on. I think part of the problem for it with me is that it feels so story light to start with. Like, even Ravagers doesn't have the greatest story. It's just about a pirate guy, but it was fun. And then Shadow of Revan is so incredibly, like, you're fighting Revan. It's crazy. The fight is as insane as you would think fighting Revan would be. And the Gods from the Machines, it just felt like they weren't really characters, I guess. They were just robots. You were just fighting a bunch of different robots. Like, individually, the mechanics were really cool. Like, I was just like, wow, I would have never thought of them adding this. This is really the kind of thing that I like. I like when you have to really pay attention and be on top of moving around and doing things, and that's why I like being a tank. I don't want to be watching my DPS meters. I want to be watching the game. And it just, I would say they did really well on, but I don't know, something about it just didn't click in terms of me loving it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, same here.
So you want a couple of flashpoints. How many would be an acceptable number for you?
3?
3? Yeah, 3 seems fine. Shadow of Revan, we got I was about to say some bad words. We got a lot. Because we got the prelude to the Shadow of Revan, we got 4 flashpoints, and then we got 2 more in the actual expansion, so we got 6 total. That seemed a little overboard to me. Like, I liked them, but I won't cry if there weren't that many this time. So would 2 to 3 be okay with you?
I think they can do more than 2, but yeah, 3 at a bare minimum.
3 to 5. And then for operations, would you be happy with 1 coming out, or would you demand that they really try and get 2 like Shadow of Revan?
I would be okay with 1, yeah. I would prefer 2, but I think 3 would be too much. I think 3 is asking too much.
3 would be. I would assume that they couldn't work on any other thing in the entire game.
Yeah.
Because the operations, I didn't realize how intensive they are in terms of updating them and testing them until they started being really open with the public test server and the public test server forums. Just the amount of changes they made before it even came out was boggling to me. Like, oh my god, there's so much time sink going into this. Like, it's been 2 months and they're still testing it and making changes. Like, it's obvious it can't just be made and released like a lot of the other content in the game can be.
Yep.
So PvP, what do you care about for maps? Maps have been kind of weird lately. The last really new one we got was Odessan, the Odessan one that's inside your base. That one was very different, so I give them kudos for trying something entirely different from the other maps, but it has its own issues, and it's kind of weird for a new player, really hard to understand if you don't know what's going on. And then we got a reskinned map, and then we got another hut ball. So PvP is kind of weird with what we got. What would you be hoping for? Like, I would hope instead of releasing a new map, they figure out how to fix some of the things that are making people currently unhappy. I don't know if they can or not. Like, I don't know if desync is something that can be solved with our engine.
Yeah, I don't know. No, like you said, I definitely give them props for that stronghold PvP idea. That is unique, I think, to MMOs. I don't think any other MMO has done that.
No, I think they're definitely the first.
That's very, very cool. But no, for PvP, it kind of goes back to my BR discussion, and that's I want to see them do something new.
What Oh, so not a reskin. No reskin. I would be really disappointed if they released a PvP reskin map. I would be like, you know what? You should have just kept that time and used it for something else. Like, I don't think anyone, like, the waves that reskin map made were so pitiful. Like, I barely remembered it coming and going, and I don't remember anyone talking about it afterwards.
But yeah, if it's not, I mean, there's so many things they could do, and again, you know, that all these developers, all these MMO companies, they look at each other, they see what others are doing.
Yeah, steal it from other games. Do it.
And yeah, I mean, if they don't go with a BR, there's other things they could do. You know, if we take a look at WildStar, which is now a game that got shut down, you know, they actually had a MOBA style thing in that game that was a ton of fun to play. So they could do...
It makes me sad because there is so many cool features in other games that we will probably never see in ours, just because of the struggles with the technical issues and the engine. Just like the devs can probably daydream a lot. Like, I remember they were talking about, let's see if we can add pod racing to the game, and they literally came to the conclusion that no, it would not work. That must be really disheartening to have all these like great ideas, to have your team be excited about them, and then you find out, nope, just never gonna happen. Sorry.
Yeah.
I guess that's just one of the struggles of working on an older game.
Yeah, but then again, you look at something like Galactic Starfighter, and I would have never guessed that something like that would be possible in this engine.
Yeah, that was a total surprise to me. Like, I did not expect them to release that. It was like, whoa, something totally new.
So, you never know, I guess.
Before we wrap up group content, is there any other type of group stuff? We've covered heroics, we've covered PvP, we've covered operations, we covered flashpoints. Anything else you'd want to see?
Other than my crazy ideas of my my PvE Starfighter stuff, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to please. I guess I just want an operation and some flashpoints with harder modes. That's about it. So let's talk about the more less gameplay aspect of the game. Okay, Kidley, I know we've talked about this a ton before, but what would you like to see changes to classes or addition of classes?
Well, unfortunately, BioWare has said that they would never do another 1 to 50 class, which...
I think you're right, yeah.
Which kind of sucks, but I think a hero class is on the table.
So what is a hero class for someone who's not familiar?
Well, there's a couple different ways of doing it, but it's basically a class that would start at, let's say, level 60. And they have a short little story, maybe 2 to 4 hours or something, that would raise them to 70. And then at the end, they would get to pick a side, you know, Empire or Republic. I think that BioWare may have potentially missed an opportunity to do a hero class with the Knights of Zakul. Yep.
So it would be a character that you start at level 60, you don't have a class story, but you do have some type of short, unique story, and the main thing is that you have unique abilities compared to the other classes. It's not a mirror class, it's not a copycat class, it's just something totally new to play, right?
Yes, it can be done that way. But
so yeah, we're gonna...
Yeah, for the Knights of Zakul, I mean, I've even put some additional thought into this, basically saying, I mean, even when we fought those guys, you know, we saw different variations, so we already know that's possible, but they could do, basically, the shield with the saber pike would be your tank and a healer, and then they could do another variation of just a pike or maybe a saber, that's the DPS, so they could split it up that way, and I don't know, I think it had a lot of options. I know in the past I've talked with other people about a hero class, and they said, oh, we want like a droid engineer, because the game doesn't have a pet class compared to a lot of other MMOs. So I think there's other options out there as well.
If there ever becomes a pet class, I'm going to get 1 million pet class together players, and then I'm going to crash the engine. I think a new class would be one of the biggest aspects they could add to the game that would draw back older players, because I have seen so many people saying, let me try a new class, let me try one, I don't even care what it is, it'd be so cool, I'd return to the game for it. I honestly wonder if that would be something they add to the expansion, because it would be a lot of work. The biggest problem would not be like thinking up an idea or figuring out their abilities. It would be balancing them with the other classes. Star Wars: The Old Republic, especially, whether they succeed or not, that's up to the players. But they really try to make the classes balanced. They want everyone to be able to enjoy every class and every advanced class just as much as the other ones. They want you to pick it because you like the style of combat, or because you like the class story or the look or something like that, not because it's the best class of the year. One of the reasons they have this is because the game is so story focused. When they made it, they said there's PvE, PvP. What was the third pillar of MMOs? I always forget.
You said PvP, PvE?
Yeah, and then what's the third one that MMOs
exploration?
Have? Exploration, probably. And then they said they really want to add that fourth pillar of story. So they don't want people ignoring one of the storylines just because someone told them, sorry, Juggernauts are currently the best class in the game. You should go play that one. And then you're sad because you actually wanted to play a smuggler or something. So it would be really hard for them to really get that class balanced with the other ones. They already have a tough time as it is with the current classes.
Yeah.
So we don't know what exactly is going to happen in the next story. Do you think that might influence what type of hero class they release? Because I think, like I said, it'd be a really big draw for older players to come back to.
Yeah, and that's really, really hard to say. And that might be one of the most difficult decisions that they have to make is like, okay, if they do a hero class, what do they do? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you make something that's truly unique, or we could even maybe take a step back, and I know there's people have said it's like, oh, why don't you do a little bit of a swap? Why don't you do an Imperial trooper and a Republic agent, something along those lines.
Yeah, but with those would be pretty unique in the game. But what if they're not exciting enough for people? What if they want to be gray Jedis? Oh my God, Kinley! I just made the company $6 bajillion. Just make a gray Jedi class that has a mix of light side and dark side abilities, so you can force choke someone while projecting rocks at them. People and you get a free set of gray Jedi robes. I feel like people would go freaking nuts for that, even if it was one of the less unique ideas.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many people who would love to play a neutral class. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It'd be. I feel like they could do some interesting stuff with the story because right now the storyline is so focused on Republic and Empire or dark side and light side. There's not a lot of gray decisions. It'd be kind of cool to see what they could do to play with that for a unique storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, problem is they would have to choose a faction. Yeah, Grey Jedi, that would be a bit rough. I don't know what side you'd shove them onto. So we've talked about classes. Do you want to talk now about adding new races to the game? We haven't had one in quite a long time. The two races that have been added to the game since launch are Togruta, the ones with like the little horns and the Montrails, and we've added Cathar, the kitty people. Mm-hmm. It didn't really seem like, I don't know, I didn't feel like they felt they made a lot of money from it, is what I felt. Because these ones you had to purchase with cartel coins. I feel like not many people would have rejoined the game or started the game specifically because they heard those classes were playable. And I don't know how many players purchased them with real dollars. I don't know if they kept existing players playing. I don't feel like they raved or ranted about this enough to know.
Yeah, I do think with the expansion we will see one.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a little bit of an update on this. I don't know. Did you hear the recent interview where Charles talked about this?
What? I don't know. I don't know if I remember. What happened, Kidley?
So in a recent interview, and this pops up in interviews all the time, and normally when this question comes up, the devs just kind of push it off and saying that like, oh, we know you guys want another one, and we actually have a list of ones we want to do, but we don't know when we're going to get it in. In this interview, they actually told us why we would not get certain ones potentially. And so what they said is, they said, as an example, a Rodian. People are like, oh, can we get a Rodian class? That'd be great. They're in the game and stuff.
Oh, is it because Rodians can't kiss?
Kind of. But no, funny enough, it actually has to do with their mouth and their facial. And they said that odds are they would never do a Rodian because of the character lip sync, they would not be able to do it proper with a Rodian.
Can't do proper kiss sync is what you're telling me.
Yes. Also.
So we've got limitations. It has to be a humanoid style character. Like they have to have 2 legs and 2 arms in roughly the same locations as humans, and they have to have a humanoid face. So whatever it's going to be something with a class or a race with something funny slapped on the top of its head, or I don't know, something that will fit in the existing cutscenes.
Yep. There were actually 2 other ones that they talked about that I'll mention here recently. Another one that comes up all the time is Keldor. And they actually said, well, they said 2 things about Keldor. The third one is obviously kissing.
The 3, they can't kiss at all. They have a face mask.
Yeah. But for the Keldor, they said the same thing. They said we wouldn't be able to do proper lip syncing with them. But they do helmets and stuff all the time.
They have a mask!
I know. That's what he said. I'm like, we've got others with like masks and helmets, so I don't know. Yeah. But the main option, or the main thing they said about them, is they said they wouldn't do it because of lack of customization.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the races in Star Wars just don't have a lot of differences. Like, as far as I can tell from Keldor, they literally all look the same, all the ones that I've seen. I'm sure there's some more unique ones out there, but yeah.
And then the third one they talked about was Deveronians. And I think Charles' answer to this was, 1...
the devil!
They feel like most people don't even know what a Deveronian is. Yeah. And 2, the female Deveronian is so different than the male, they think that would cause issues.
Not to mention adding Satan to your game. Yeah, I don't think that'd be one of the ones that's just not worth it to add. I kind of feel that way about Nautolan. Nautolan is my personal favorite that I'd like to see added. I think they're really cool. They have really interesting voice patterns when they're speaking non-English, and they look cool. They look neat, and they also meet the other requirements of being humanoid and having kissable lips. But at the same time, I understand they make decisions based on how many people will rejoin the game if this is added, how many new people will join the game, how many players will continue playing the game who wouldn't have otherwise. And I don't know, maybe people would play Nautolan, existing players would play a new Jedi run through on a Nautolan, but would a new player be like, oh, Nautolans, I've been waiting for them to add this to the game since 2011, I'm gonna play now? I think the answer to that is they would not. Yeah. So it wouldn't necessarily be a good monetary addition.
Yeah, and I think that's why they added Togruta, because Togruta was widely requested.
Yes, people who maybe aren't playing Star Wars now, but like Clone Wars, they're like, oh, I can be Ahsoka's race in Star Wars. That'd be super cool. I think that would be the opposite of adding a Nautolan. So we've talked about races, classes. Kidley, I know Space Barbie of the Old Republic is not your favorite part of the game, because I try to talk with you about it every single time I come on your stream. But is there anything you're wishing in terms of cosmetics, like mounts, armor, new things that have been added, like weapon tunings or flares and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I do enjoy my Space Barbie. Now, I'm actually one of these people where I do want all my characters to look a particular way, but usually once I find that look, I'm pretty locked in. Mm-hmm. But I will say that I do not envy the artists that work on this game, because with the cartel market in particular, they've had to make so many armor sets. They've got to be running out of ideas.
No way! Some of the newest armor sets have been the best ones they've ever released. Yeah. Like the one, you maybe have flipped the page by now, but on your screen I see the Resilient Warden. That set is beautiful and is very different from the other sets. We've got that Sith Callus Conqueror, I think, the one with the special mask that has eyes roving around and looks so dang cool. And I'm super impressed with the most recent ones. I think one of the nice things about them stopping doing the cartel packs that change every couple of months, they can really just pick a very small amount of sets and really pick the best ones to release that month. I've been super happy with what I've been seeing lately. Yeah, there's the Callus one I was talking about.
But I'm always up for anything new that they want to add in design-wise, because, with a game like this, the more customization that you can add to any part of the game, the better. Yep.
Yeah, I'm up for anything new. I don't think I would demand anything new from the expansion. Oh, I actually do have a demand. I demand from BioWare to give me this, or I'm quitting the game. No. Um, One of the parts of expansions I enjoyed the most during Rise of the Hutt Cartel and Shadow of Revan was the new end game armor that you could earn, and they looked really good. Like to me, I really liked them. There was distinct look for. Both the Republic and the Empire, and within each of those categories, really distinct look for the Trooper, for the Jedi, for the Smuggler, and there was always some Trooper gear that I was absolutely lusting over, and I would be so excited when I actually won it, because not only would I be able to upgrade my stats, I'd also be able to wear this new armor that symbolizes gear progression in the game. I know not everyone wears what they get as gear because you can fashion your character up with the outfit designer, but I still really like owning that new look. Like I am now an upgraded trooper. The last two expansions have really sucked for endgame armor. I don't know why. For some reason they started streamlining them. This actually started a while ago when the Dreadmasters came out. There was the Dreadmaster gear, and it was really cool looking, but it wasn't very unique per class. Like it was a theme where all 8 different classes kind of matched in some way. And then in Knights of the Eternal Throne, I think they tried to focus on the idea of the Outlander, kind of like an exile, and there was lots of brown, drabs, and grays. And then on the latest expansion, it's like super brown. Everything looks like a smuggler could wear it, and I'm like, oh, I just want my Republic Trooper armor back. So one thing I'd really like to see is that the set bonus gear. Yeah, exactly. The gear you earn from doing the harder endgame content in the game, or you earn over time with tokens. I want to see that look like it could be worn by a level 50 class character. Like they just finished their storyline. They're currently at the best point of their career as their class. That's what I want. I want to be lusting over that class armor again. But anything else is a bonus.
Yeah.
While we're talking about gearing, so since Galactic Command came out when it was originally launched, most players were really, really unhappy with the state of gear in the game. Like nobody liked it. A few people liked it because it gave an option for solo players to gear up that they didn't have before, but everyone was so unimpressed by the idea that it was first so random chance oriented. Here's Kidley opening up some of those boxes that I'm talking about, and they basically took this idea from other games. They saw these random crates being very popular in other games, and they said, let's do it. Let's get on board this growing trend, and our players will love it, right? It's always fun to open random things and see what's inside. So I'm super a fan of loot crates, even in real life. I like opening stuff and getting random stuff and the surprise of it. I find it really fun. But I was really disappointed that it was an aspect attached to gearing. Gearing for me is something that you get to achieve in the game. Maybe in real life, maybe you don't have the best job. Maybe you didn't get that promotion. Maybe it wasn't fair and someone else beat you to it by sucking up to the boss or something like that. But I feel like gearing and progression in video games is really nice because the majority of the time it is not luck-based. You can't have someone else screw you over, or you can't have bad luck, or you can't just have bad karma, or whatever you want to say, something that you worked hard for it and you still didn't get it. In video games, you work hard, you do what you're supposed to do, and then you get it. It's awesome. You're really happy you got that thing or whatever you're trying to upgrade. And this was the exact opposite of it. It felt like no matter what you do, you're still going to have a huge random chance. As Sir Galahad says in chat, real life is RNG enough. Thank you, and that sucks. So, yeah, exactly. And it feels good to be able to get that full set of gear. I was really excited when I got my last piece recently from hard mode raiding. I was like, yeah, I finally completed it. That's so awesome. And while I'm happy about what's going on in my real life too, it's still fun to not have that random element in game. So when this was released, that was the only option to gear up. It did not matter what you do. Operations did not matter. PvP did not matter. Doing difficult content did not matter. You just do whatever to get these boxes. Like, I think the most efficient way at the time might have been running heroics. So you would have to run heroics for the next 5 years to get your best gear, and even then it's random chance.
Yep.
Since then, the game has changed a lot. I'm really happy that I felt they really listened to the players to the point of completely revamping the entire system. The command loot crates, the randomness of them still exists, as Kidley is showing on the screen, but they are extremely supplemental. They're kind of like a side bonus thing now. They're only one part of a much larger way to earn gear and progress. So now you can get gear from operations again. Like if you work together with your team, you get a chance of getting loot from your team, depending on how you distribute it. If you do PvP, you automatically get tokens that you can turn in for gear over time, and it's probably one of the better ways to gear up. You can upgrade existing gear if you do master mode content or operations, or if you just do PvP, you can actually upgrade your gear too. There's now a new way that's kind of controversial, so I won't talk too much about it, but anyone has access to it, and it's not random chance. And so yeah, the game is in a okay, if confusing state when it comes to gearing. What would you like to see for gearing for the expansion? Do you think they're going to do away with the command stash altogether?
No, I think they put so much money into that system. I don't think it'll ever completely go away.
I think so. It's such a sunk cost thing. Like, even if people hate it, it should just stay there and be a small part.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it's going to be. So eventually, at some point down the road, I think they'll probably continue to expand on it.
I think so, yeah.
I do think for the expansion and for the whatever the new gear is going to be, they're probably going to have a different way of getting it. Probably go back to more of an old school method with tokens and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think they are. Right now, I'm really happy with the state of gearing for newer players. For players trying to get the very best endgame gear, I don't know how I feel. But in terms of just an average player, I think it's a very fair and very accessible system. It's just confusing as heck. I made a guide on it, and it was like 56 pages long after I figured everything out. I was like, oh my God, how is anyone new supposed to figure this out? So it's really complicated, but it's very fair, I guess I could say. I have no idea how they could simplify it and make it simpler for the average player to understand. One of the other reasons they did the command stash was because they wanted to make it easier for players to understand. For example, if you are a new player, Kidley's giving a big thumbs up on the screen when I'm watching it. Kidley, what are you thumbs upping about?
I got a legendary.
Oh, nice! That RNG is in your favor today, man. So the command crates are super easy to understand. You do stuff, and then you get a magic box in your inventory, and when you open it, it has magic stuff inside it. Some of it looks like gear you can wear. It's super easy to understand. Before, there's the tokens. You have to figure out where can you even spend these tokens in the first place. You may never find the vendor. You may never even notice you're getting tokens because they're on the currency tab and you didn't discover it yet. Once you get a token, you might not know what you should be buying with that token and accidentally buy smuggler gear on your Jedi. Yeah.
I mean, that works, right?
I need more alacrity. And no, I need more defense as a smuggler. Yes. So it could be very confusing on how to gear for a new player. But then, like I said, the loot crates are so RNG and I don't find them fair. So I don't know. I think they're going to try to simplify gearing, but also keep it to have lots of options for gearing like they have now. And I have no idea how they're going to do that. No idea at all.
Yeah. One thing I'll say here real quick about the new gear, the masterwork, is I think the reason why they made it so complicated and so grindy kind of goes back to some of the stuff we were talking about earlier, and we don't know how much content's going to be between now and the expansion. Maybe none.
Yeah, give you something to grind on while you're waiting.
Exactly. This is what we're going to be doing. Yep. Well, there's not going to be zero content. I think we can pretty much confirm that because they just threw up the PTS with the next.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Something that is definitely coming this year that we know about. It's a new single operation boss, right?
Yes.
So that's something new people can play on. If you happen to have played the Taboro's Courtyard, the instance boss on Ziost, the Rakul boss, or the boss during the Gree event, it's going to be similar to those ones. Just a single boss with fun mechanics in a instance area.
Yeah, I always liked TC. That was a good one.
Yeah, I did that one recently too, and I killed my raid a couple times by accident. Shh, it's okay. So I don't really have any wishes for gearing. I just wish them luck figuring it out, and good luck figuring out something that a majority of the player base likes and enjoys and thinks is good and won't quit over.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Killy, can we do another giveaway? We haven't done one in a while.
Sure.
I don't know what. Let's look on the cartel market again. I wish there was a way to see like new stuff added. Oh, Kid Lee, can I give away a set of that Callous Conqueror's armor? I really like that one.
Sure.
Okay, super cool Sith armor. Go. How can people enter the giveaway? And let's start from scratch, since a couple people are coming in just recently.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to give you a keyword. You'll enter into that keyword, and you can get entered in for the giveaway. Keyword for this one is going to be stuff for stuff. Make sure you get all the F's correctly.
What kind of keyword is that, man? I'm going to put my face mask on so you guys can see this armor. For anyone who's wondering why I'm giving away cartel market armors as opposed to like other stuff in the game that I could give, it's just because it's the easiest for me to deliver across multiple servers. It's really hard to get, like, say, credits or something cool I earned in game over to you if we're not on the same server. And if you don't like this prize, still enter and you can just sell it. It's worth a ton. It's a very, very cool and popular set of armor. So while we're doing that giveaway, Kidley, is there any other systems in the game that you'd like to see upgraded or improved upon? We talked a little bit about the guild system and some of its updates, and it's going to get heraldry sometime in the year. We talked a little bit about the gear system changing. Is there anything else you'd like to see in 2019?
Yeah, going back to the guild system, I'm just really happy that they finally put this in. This was a long time coming, and the stuff that they're going to be adding to it in 2019 is going to be great, making it even better.
More upgrades for guilds, yes.
Yeah. And they're going to be adding the guild versus guild system as well. That's really cool.
Oh,
actually, that'll be another
PvP
thing.
aspect. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But kind of like
designer weapons. Of course, we want that. We talked about that in at the beginning.
Yeah.
Forza says they'd like to see new events. I'm very curious about the events because they were very, very popular when they were first released. Like, we had so much fun with the first Rackle events, the first Ilum event. It was super popular. People even doing open world PvP when that was a thing, and super fun. But these days, they kind of just come and go, and I kind of just ignore them. And I have a feeling lots of other players do too. Even like, because the new players, they're busy doing all the normal stuff in the game, and old players have already done it all. So I don't know if they're going to invest in new events. Do you think if they made a new event, people would be super interested in it, like old players?
I do. And again, this goes back to us talking about other MMOs a little bit, but I think we really need new events in this game, and not just a couple, but a bunch, because that would really add in a big spark into the game, I think.
I'd like to see more once per year ones. Like, for example, now the events they're roughly monthly, give or take, every other month or so, and it feels like they just come so often. They're not special. Like, I don't look forward to them or kind of ignore their passing. But when I used to play Guild Wars 2 a lot, there was a really cool event, and I knew it was only going to be once or maybe not for years to come in the future, and I really played in the game. I pretty much ignored SWTOR during the entire time that event was out because I knew it would be going away and I wouldn't be able to enjoy it in the future. So I really buckled down in Guild Wars 2. So I'm curious if SWTOR would do something like that. SWTOR has only done a couple different events like that. We had the Shevin event, was a one-time thing, but it was kind of weird, I guess. Did you ever do that one back in the day on Nar Shaddaa?
Which one was that?
The Shevin event. It was on Nar Shaddaa. There was something to do with the speeder, something to do with a dance pad. Oh my god, I can't even describe it. It was that strange.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember that one.
You could win bowcasters and a broken down looking speeder.
Oh, okay. I know the speeder, but yeah, that event has been wiped from my memory apparently.
Yeah, and the only other thing they did was the original Rackle event, which they kind of repeated in a different way. And then the Dark versus Light event was really interesting. That was definitely a cool point in the game's history. For those of you who have heard the word Dark versus Light but don't know what it is, currently there is a Dark versus Light system, and it's a server-wide battle, and you can declare whether you want to fight for the light side or the dark side, and then you can get tokens. But it just kind of happens passively. When it first came out, we were trying to figure out if we could tip the scales as a guild, but the answer was no. So you just kind of watch the timer flip back and forth between dark and light. So
Yeah.
honestly, that one was kind of a waste of time for me. But Dark versus Light was an actual event during the summer, and it was a very intensive event. It was basically something you were supposed to complete over the course of the entire summer, especially if you're a casual player. You couldn't grind it out in like a day. So there was some really cool prizes. There was a set of gear that gave you an XP bonus and it was legacy bound, so you could give it to any of your characters. There was a really cool looking new companion, and it was kind of a mystery even which of two we would get, and people kind of got to fight for the side they wanted to win the companion of. There was just in general some really cool prizes, and there was different tiers too, so you could decide how much you wanted to participate. The first tier wasn't too hard, second tier quite hard, third tier insane probably. I don't even think I did the last tier because I wasn't thinking I was going to be able to complete it in the entire summer. And some of the harder achievements were like, do every single flashpoint once during the summer, do so many PvP, do this and that. And it was really cool. It much like the Guild Wars 2 event, because I knew it was limited time and probably wouldn't come back later. I buckled down and I just played and really enjoyed tracking my progress and finding people to do stuff with.
Yeah, and I hope at some point down the road they make a new event or something that allows other people to get that XP suit, because I know there's a lot of people that don't have it and they want it. So
it's not something I really use because I feel like XP comes so fast these days, but yeah. I know it's a really nice thing to have the option of if you want to do traditional leveling with traditional class story, but you just want to do it faster.
Yep.
So more events would be nice, it sounds like. Not something I'm expecting in the expansion, and I'd rather them focus on the stuff I requested for the expansion versus events, but hey, if they have time to add some and they think it's going to be worthwhile to the game, definitely. I feel like they could even copy the Dark versus Light event in this summer, and I'd be pretty happy because it's been enough time past that I'd love to go back and do all those flashpoints again. They were fairly fun to find people to group up with to do them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things where, and actually Streaming Hawkeye just threw out another one that I'll talk about here in a second, but we're all like, we want more events, and they might ask us, well, what kind of events? And I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Like I said,
something.
Dark versus Light again, but I have no idea what they would be. Like, when you think about it, if we asked you, we're going to add new events to the game, do you think they would say, we're going to add a rat ghoul event and a random alien on Ilum event? Like, the events we have are really weird and not very relatable to new players. Like, if you tried to explain the Ilum or the Gree event or the rat ghoul event, do you think a player who's never played SWTOR or KOTOR would have any interest in them? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like something... Sorry.
Just real quick, so Streaming Hawkeye, Pazak or the card game, why is that not in this game? I don't know.
Could we have like a yearly Pazak actual tournament? Like,
yeah.
Oh, did we end the stuff versus stuff?
No, not yet.
Okay, do it. Finish it.
But no, that card game, that's got to be put in.
Use that +5 card, Kidley.
All right, the winner is, boom, the Great Bard.
The Great Bard, please say something in chat so I can click on your game and send you a prize.
I think it should be more like, could you please sing something in chat? He's
could you please sing something in chat? Yes, I will grant you additional funds if you sing in the chat. A Pazak, I feel like a Pazak game wouldn't be too hard in the scale of things to add, because we can guess it's probably within the engine's capability. We can guess it's probably not going to have too bad of a desync because you take turns, and we can guess that the graphics probably won't be too intensive. We already have the design mostly from Knights of the Old Republic 2. There would have to probably be a big discussion about those. bonus special cards. Like in Knights of the Old Republic 2, you'd like kill people and steal their cards. You'd buy them from other people. You'd like do good things and people would give you cards. That doesn't work in an MMO where everything has to be balanced. I have no idea how that would work.
Yeah.
Probably be on the freaking cartel market.
Yeah, it could be just something that they have in the group finder and you queue up for it and it just pops up and you play somebody and...
Yeah, and there could be like an actual tournament where you have to be in person in a location so you can actually see tons of people all in a casino or something.
Yep, and they could add another currency for that where you could buy decor items that are, you know, Pazak themed or whatever for your stronghold, or maybe even a table, or, you know, there's all kinds of things they could do with it. But who knows?
Okie dokie, the bard has been given the link to go to. So, we've got wishes for more events. I guess are the only systems that need upgrading. I feel like they've made enough upgrades over the year. Like we already got the guild one, which was my biggest wish for in general. They've upgraded the activities and the group finder menu, so it's a little less confusing. Equipment panel, I don't think needs really any help. We got the outfit designer, which was a huge upgrade for that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything else. User interface is now editable compared to the launch of the game. That was a really nice update. Oh, I would like to have more support for, I don't know what the right word would be, seeing impaired, like legally blind people or people who have a hard time.
Mode.
Colorblind mode, I'm not too worried about that. The game doesn't struggle too much for colorblind, but there is no way to make just the text bigger. So anyone who has trouble seeing the smaller text in the game, they're just gonna SOL. Like the user interface can be made bigger, but the text can't. So I would like to see more support for that in the game. Someone's saying operator in Terra from Beyond. Yeah, that's the only one that colorblind is a mess that I know of.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's pretty much everything in the entire game. Do you have any things you want to see in 2019 that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, as long as they just continue to produce, you know, a quality product and a quality game, I think we'll be fine. And it's going to be just really interesting to see what exactly 6.0 is, and hopefully we get... most, if not everything, that we want for that expansion.
Yeah, I guess I really want them to have a solid story on both factions, so there's more than one to play. I want to see Operation and a couple flashpoints, and yeah, it's not asking a lot, I hope. And then anything else that makes players excited to play the game, that would be good for me.
Yeah, but yeah, BioWare, they want new players to come into this game. And so I think they need to do perhaps something a little big and bold in order to make that happen.
Yeah, I think some people will come back purely for the expansion for Empire versus Republic. Other people are going to need to see something new and exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with our earlier comment. A new species could bring in a lot of people. And again, if they did something big like a PvE, you know... Starfighter mode of some description, I think that could really get people's attention back to this game. And yeah, I guess so. When do you think we're gonna get new news? So we know we don't know. We have a good suspicion that they're gonna have. Oh no, my outfit doesn't match. It's horrible. We know, we're guessing that there's probably going to be a big update to finding out about the expansion Star Wars Celebration. That's April 2019. Do you think we're going to get any news before then? Nothing big. Maybe a little something here or there, but I think April's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, I mean, we're already halfway through January, aren't we? That's January, half January, February, March, and then it's going to be early April, a Star Wars Celebration. That's not even 3 months. Yeah, that's nothing. Yep. So I guess we'll be patient till then. Enjoy what's currently in the game, including all the stuff they added last year. Enjoy that new Hive of the Mountain Queen kind of boss. And for those of you who enjoy group content, and keep enjoying Osis for those of you who enjoy story and exploration.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Forrest has a good question for you. Kid Lee, what are your personal SWTOR goals / resolutions for 2019? What do you want to do in-game with your own characters?
Funny enough, I actually talked a little bit about this morning, and it's... I just want to try and find a way to spice up the game a little bit, and there's this this thing that's been happening on Twitch, which is this MMO challenge thing, if you guys have never heard of it. And it's basically, like, I'll just throw out a couple of examples. So there is the SWTOR Darkest Dungeon challenge. So you start a new character, and you can only use gear from flashpoints. If
so is
you
it
die,
to encourage you to do flashpoints, or
sorry, what was that?
is it to encourage you to do flashpoints, or is it just for fun in general?
It's just a challenge. So you start at level 1, you have to use that level 1 gear to get to 11 to where you can run the first flashpoint. And then you can only use gear that drops in flashpoints. And your goal is to get to 70 without dying. If you die, you have to delete the character. That's the thing.
Oh my god, that's SWTOR hard mode. Seeing as I'm like my goofiest and my least paying attention when it comes to flashpoints, I feel like I died around level 12, I think.
Yep. So another one that's come out is what they refer to as the Amish Challenge. And that is basically the same rules that I just said, except for you can only use crafted gear. And again, try and get to 70 without dying. If you die at any point, you have to delete the character.
I like that one actually a lot. That one is an interesting one there. Because crafting is actually fairly fun if you're trying to do it on like a regular basis for your character. It's pretty neat to get the new pieces of gear as you get it. And then, of course, the added idea of all your crafting could be for naught if you die.
And then the last one I've got for you, and I've got to give credit to Chill for this one, because I was not aware of this one, and it's basically a passive challenge where your character can do no damage.
Oh, yeah, like a very, very passive, truly peace-loving Jedi or something like that.
Yep, you can do 0 damage, and so basically your companion has to do everything for you. Again, 1 to 70. If you die, it's over.
So do you want to do all 3 of these, or are you just shooting for the first one?
I might do all of them, but just, throughout the year. It's going to be a really fun thing to stream, I think. So
Rafferty has a similar challenge. They said, my son and I used to see how far we get without training. That was interesting to say the least. So you're just using like the 3 or 4 abilities you get.
That'd be another good one. And you could maybe even tie that one into one of the ones that I just mentioned. Yeah.
Probably. That's a fun one too. What are my resolutions for this year? I don't know. I don't really have any. A lot of the things that I wanted to do I already did, because I've been playing the game for 7 years. A lot of the things I want to do are kind of outside the game. Like I have a project I'm working on. One of my projects is Star Wars Celebration, so I want to do all kinds of cool stuff, both offline and online for that, and in person at the event. Another project I'm working on is a fashion-related project that I've been working on for like the last way too long, like 4 or 5 months, that I'm hoping to finish in 2019 and just make more videos, I guess. I'm assuming your plans are similar on the content front.
Maybe is the best thing I can say to that. I might be changing some stuff in 2019, but we'll see. I'm actually waiting to see what Anthem does before I make any decisions.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Anthem is slated to come out this year, right? Do you know when?
The 22nd.
Wait, of this month?
Of February.
Oh, I was like, damn, that's close.
Yep.
So Anthem, for those of you who aren't familiar, is another game being produced by the same studio. It's a fairly different game. It's a third-person shooter, right?
Well, yeah, it's kind of weird because it actually jumps between first and third person based on what you're doing. But yeah.
Well, okay. And the special and different aspect of the game is that you can fly in this mega armor suit, and so it's ground and sky. Have you gotten a chance to try it out, right, Kidley? Or you're going to very soon?
The 25th of this month, I will be streaming it for the first time. So about a month early.
Yes. So you're gonna get a good idea of whether or not you think it's worth playing or not. Then we don't really know how this is affecting the studio, as obviously the more things the studio does, the more it can affect SWTOR and its any other games they're working on. Uh, Players are guessing. I don't know. I really have heard like lots of yes and no on Anthem. Like lots of people seem excited about it, lots of people don't.
Yep.
Um, I'm assuming that if the game goes well, that can only be good for everyone in the studio. Like, it won't take away from SWTOR. It'll only be happier and more money and more happiness in the studio. And if it goes badly, I don't know what's going to happen because they will either uh, it'll be bad for everyone involved. They'll have to cut people. I'm sure lots of people are cross sharing their roles in both Anthem and SWTOR. And the other option is that it could be really good for SWTOR because they stop with Anthem and put anyone they borrowed from the team back on the game. But me and Kid Lee, neither of us work in game development. Kid Lee really enjoys reading up on game dev news and stuff like that. So he's got expertise on that side. And I've got expertise on working on stuff. And I have no idea. Do you have any guess, Kid Lee?
As far as which thing?
If Anthem goes badly, do you think that will be good or bad for SWTOR?
That'll be bad for everybody. We want Anthem to succeed because that will be good for SWTOR, it'll be good for EA, it'll be good for BioWare.
Do you think a lot of players, when some other MMOs came out, many of my friends hopped games from SWTOR to other MMOs like Guild Wars 2, ESO, Final Fantasy Online, World of Warcraft when it gets expansions. Do you think people will hop out of SWTOR to go play Anthem?
I think there will be... Okay, well, Anthem is such a different game than
It is so different, different.
Than your traditional MMO, and so I mean, there will be some people who jump over, but I don't think they'll leave SWTOR for Anthem because the games are so different.
Yeah, I think there might be a small decrease in all MMOs as people go try to check out Anthem. But I don't think it's I quit SWTOR to go join Anthem because they're so incredibly different.
Yeah, like earlier in the stream, I was talking about Ashes of Creation. When that comes out, probably in about 2 years, that's going to be a different story.
Yeah, that's 2019.
Yep.
While we're all here, can we ask chat what kind of Star Wars: The Old Republic New Year's resolutions they have, or what they would like to do in 2019 on their characters?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, guys in chat, what do you hope to do in game in 2019 with your characters? I'm assuming most of you actually play. If you don't play Star Wars: The Old Republic, hi, this is a video game online that we really like. Stop playing Star Wars is the first one. Win more giveaways. Get to OSIS so I can watch Kid Lee's streams. Definitely. So many spoilers. Gain 1 XP so I can level up to 61. Aw, preferred man. Sorry. Do you know if any companions are stronger than others? I heard Cartel Market ones are stronger. No, actually. The only companions that are stronger are a few bugged ones. For example, I think Shea Vizsla is one of the stronger ones. And not by like an insane amount or anything. There's just a couple that are bugged.
Yep.
Has to do something with their weapons? I don't remember. Just finished my characters, so I'm going to work on all the other classes. Yeah, that should be my New Year's resolution, is finally be a legendary player, because I still haven't. I really, really should be, though.
Which one's you missing?
I'm missing the agent because I was playing it with my husband while we were still long distance, and now that we're together, I really hate couch co-op. So, at least in SWTOR, so we just haven't. We've tried a couple times, and I wasn't into it. And then the other one I'm missing is a bounty hunter for no particular reason. I just haven't done it yet.
Oh, that one is so good. It's like my favorite.
I know. I've really enjoyed it so far. I don't even know why I stopped playing. I just start from scratch again. So what are some other ones? I would like to expand to more servers. Yeah, that's an interesting resolution because there's, like, at the very least, it would be cool to have a character on both the North American servers. So if you make a friend and they happen to be on Satele and you're on Starforge, you can just go play with them. That's what I'm doing right now. I am not normally on this server, but I wanted to come over and say hi to Kid Lee. Get at least one of each to hit level 300. Wow, I am still trying to get level 300 command rank on my main character. Like, I'm going very slowly.
I think I've got 2 or 3. But yeah, it's a pretty
Just
long
as
grind.
you say that, they'll move it up to level 500 for the expansion.
They might.
Another person says, I want the Sith Inquisitor Fury Starship. Yeah, you can get there. You gotta get to level, like, what, 15?
Mm-hmm.
Been playing for a long while. Still got a Smuggler and Bounty Hunter to be done. Yeah, I feel ya. I just inherited my very first pub guild from 2011. I want to rebuild it in, I'm guessing you mean 2018. Yeah, there you go. That's very interesting. Kidley, have you ever had that issue where you accidentally inherited a guild? I never have.
No, not really.
It's a fairly common issue. Like, a bunch of friends will play together, then for whatever reason they go on to other games or whatever, and then one person winds up with like a guild and a flagship and a guild bank, and they're like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
That's a kind of rough one. Honestly, my advice for that is almost always just abandon it yourself, because growing a guild from scratch is 10 million times harder than joining an existing guild and working together with those people to build up that guild. Like, just take whatever's in the guild bank and call it a day.
Yeah, and I will mention here real quick that here on SWTOR, if anybody wants to join my guild, which is Unholy Alliance, just send me a whisper.
Yeah, their guild is really nice. They're one of the ones that are highly recommended when it comes to, like, community and social gaming, like, working nicely together. Let's see. If I make my way back to SWTOR, it would be to finish the 2 remaining class stories to get legendary status, still have a trooper and smuggler to finish. Nice, you're not too far off. Swtorista, the server thing always scares me off. As a non-raider, it's hard to make the call to randomly join in elsewhere instead of on my main, just in case something nice happens or drops. Would feel horrible if it was on a random alt. When it comes to operations, I guess if something like a mount or a pet or something cool like that drops, yeah, that sucks. But in terms of gear, most of the time you can just pull it out and put it in a legacy thing, but I can see why you'd be sad about that. It would be nice if there was a way to unlock things that are bound across your legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming says, I'm going to lobby to get Eric Musco companion in game. I'll settle for Kai Saikin.
I think everybody wants a Kai Saikin companion.
Burb says, I'll continue my Sith ritual to bring Mar back. Yeah, Mar would be really nice to have back. I feel like he's going to be, at least in some part, in the expansion, because him and Satele just kind of wandered off the face of the storyline. They're not dead or anything, so, I mean, they're not removed from the storyline permanently.
Legacy is not cross-server. That is correct. You have a legacy per server.
Yeah, sadly. Oh, I see what you mean. I want to lead my new Nightmare team to full clearing Nightmare mode gods from the machine. Maybe pick up Mactoria's secret fashion show tradition. Perfect. Wow, if you guys are working on Nightmare mode gods from the machine, I wish you guys a lot of luck. I had a chance to run story mode, and even that was really difficult, so I can only imagine Nightmare mode is crazy, crazy, crazy. So super good luck to you guys.
One thing I will mention about the legacy real quick is you are able to copy your legacy from server to server. So if you want to do that, that is an option.
But yeah, if you win something on Satele, you can't send it over to Starforge easily.
Yep.
What I was trying to say about Mar not being dead, is it a spoiler at this point what he is? It's been like 3 years.
Probably not.
He's a Force ghost. Okay, I still have, okay, I think we're getting to the end of our New Year's resolutions for you guys. Is there anything you want to talk about before we wrap up this stream, Kidley?
Yeah, we can probably do just Q&A if you guys have any questions for about the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, whether it's a new player question, if you haven't played the game and want to know something about it, if you're asking some questions about some of the systems in game.
Because I know earlier we missed some questions.
Yeah, sorry guys, I was so excited about talking about our talking points that I wasn't always watching chat. Or if you have any questions about opinional stuff, we'd be happy to answer too. Sure, Shadow of Death says, I can give a fun fact that I just found out in game. How much do I need to bribe Musco to get my ritual going faster? Musco can be bought, I believe, with tacos and bird screams, so start saving up. Oh, okay. Zol says, you mentioned the command token vendor. Where is that and what do they have? Do you want to show people on the fleet where that is and how to use it?
Yep.
I'm gonna go to fleet too.
Actually, that reminds me of something else that I want BioWare to add in 2019. We've got the light side, dark side vendors. They need to add more stuff.
Oh yeah, those are from the launch of the game, and for some reason you can. There is some cool little pets and stuff, but you can also buy like some boots. I never understood why you can get like an outfit from it. You can just buy some like boring boots.
They've actually got the two sets, and they both need new stuff because you've got, like you said, the ones that came with the game, but then there's the new ones they added for your alignment. Those ones need more stuff too.
So let's talk a little bit about those command tokens. So at level 70, if you're a subscribed player, every time you complete any quest, almost any quest, and defeat almost any enemy, you'll get command XP. And that's kind of like leveling up once you're done leveling, and you earn gear that way. So every time you level up your command rank, you get a little box called that. Kidley was opening them up earlier. In those boxes, you sometimes get command tokens. You can see your command tokens by pressing the letter I on your keyboard to open up your inventory, and then click the currency tab on the top right. And there is a lot of tokens in each box, like 5 tokens per box, pretty much almost guaranteed. So you're gonna, if you're level 70 and subscribed, you're gonna be getting tokens whether you want to or not. So what they added is a way to gain gear no matter how lucky or unlucky you are with those random loot boxes that have gear in them. The command tokens, you can spend them on the supplies section of the fleet. They're gonna be in one of the rooms around the very outer edge. Kidley, we're not even in a group, are we? Sorry.
Yeah, so I just drew on the screen here. So that's where they are located.
And there are a couple different vendors in that area. Look for ones that look like they're your class. So if you're on a Sith Warrior, look for some Sith Warrior vendors. And one of the 4 sells command token gear, so it's really, really good starter level 70 gear. Like, it's probably the best starter level 70 gear, like starter endgame gear, that you could have ever gotten at any point in the game, because in all past expansions, the best in tier, so the set bonus gear, you could only get from doing the PvP or operations, but now you can actually earn them as a solo character by saving up those tokens. So it's really cool. I think it was a really nice thing for them to add an easier way to get your first 70 gear.
Yep. So what we've got here is we've got the T1, the T2, and the T3. So if you go to the T1, you'll see this entire set. Actually, that's the this is implants and earpieces, but you see this is 230.
Yeah, 230. So super starter gear. You may have already picked some better stuff up along the way, but if you're just recently reached level 70, that should be like your super simple first step to getting gear.
Actually, here's the T2 was hiding over here. So here's the T2. This is actually from the entry-level operations. This one is the 236. Oh, wait.
What?
I'm looking... Oh, these are the agent ones. Not that it matters, but...
Sorry. KB says, what level do you have to be to reach Ilum? So if I think you can fly to Ilum as long as you have a ship, but to start the storyline, each of the storylines start at a different level, and if you aren't the right level, they will be either grayed out or you can't even see that there's a quest there. So I have made a fantastic story guide that I'm going to post in chat. Story guide.
Yeah. Here, real quick, I've got the right one clicked now. So this is the T1 for Bounty Hunter, which is what I am right now. So you can see it's got the full set.
You did it. But yeah, it's super, really highly recommend if you know another new player to show them those command tokens, because a lot of people, they disintegrate them not even knowing what they're for in the first place with the command crates, or they just never even know they have them in the first place. Speaking of making gearing more simple, like I said, a lot of the storylines and the expansions and the later stuff start at specific levels, and I put a link in chat. If you Google SWTOR story order guide, that should also get you there. It's on the SWTOR Reddit, and it says exactly what level and what you have to do and where you have to be to start it. Katie asks, do you have a tokens, upgrades, parts interchanging guide? Because I'm a few weeks new, and that is super confusing. Okay, like I said earlier in the stream, it is an extremely confusing system. It used to be simple, but now they made it more difficult because they've kind of had to tack stuff on along the way. I have an extremely detailed guide about learning your stats, how to modify your gear, and then how to get the gear in the game. So I'm going to post that in chat too. It's like I said, it's 56 pages long, so don't freak out and only read the parts that are relevant. I typed SWTOR guide in chat.
Tis the story of SWTOR, the SWTOR.
Zol asked, doesn't Osis give you a gear bag? Is that better than doing this? I remember seeing that gear bag, but I didn't look into it because I assumed I had better gear. I'm not sure what item rating that is. Basically, you can find out by going to the item, like the piece of gear, and rolling your mouse over it, and it will say item rating XXX. The command token gear is item rating 230, so you just have to compare the numbers. That's a really easy way to see if similar types of gear are better than each other. It's just the item rating. It's more important the stats. The stats may be better in lower pieces of gear. They may be better distributed. That's why you have to be familiar with what type of stats your specific class is shooting for.
So here real quick, I'm showing something a little bit different on stream. So we talked about that first vendor, which is the command token. They have added a second vendor, which uses just
upgrades,
the unassembled components.
And you get those from doing either PvP of any type. Even if you're just starting PvP, you can get these, and it's a really nice way to upgrade your gear. The first tier of the PvP gear you can just buy with the tokens. So if you're not getting command tokens, you can always use these. And then Kidley, can you show them also the next vendor you can upgrade gear and how that works?
Yeah. The other thing on these is when you are opening packs, if you are disintegrating items, some items will also give you tokens, the unassembled components.
Tokens. Yeah.
Yep. The next vendor. Let me remove my drawings on the screen. Oh, that is a 2. This is a 3.
Streaming says when you go to Osis, they give you 232. So it's technically 2 levels above the item rating you can get with command tokens. But once again, it's very important to look at the stats of what those are compared to the stats on these command tokens gear, because it may not actually be useful for your class. I don't know about the specific one. Maybe they've done better here. But sometimes the stuff you're granted in-game that you don't pick out yourself is not always optimized for your class. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. The game has always had that problem.
Yep, it's weird.
Okay, so another question. Do you know if anyone is doing updated class guides? And the answer is yes! Yes, they are, and I'm so excited about this. I'm going to share 2 different links. So the first one is something that I'm extremely proud about for 2019. It is called the Ultimate Guide of Guides. It is something I made a few days ago. It is every single guide on the internet that I know of about SWTOR, sorted into a directory in different categories. So I put the link to the Guide of Guides in chat, and then very specifically I have a class guides section, and the people who are doing updated class guides. So the first ones, class guides that you would look for is Delphi.net. She has the majority of class guides on the internet, but they are not always updated. Even if the author wants to, sometimes she just doesn't have time, whatever. And another person who is compiling class guides is Volk. That's Volk.com, VULKK.com. And I have combined both of their guides into one giant directory. So if Delphi doesn't have one or Volk doesn't have one, you can check the directory to see which of them has it. And if there is no option, what other random other guides I have been able to find on the internet.
Yeah, I know Volk is also looking for some help with some of them.
Absolutely. If you are very familiar with your class and endgame rating and maybe even ranked PvP, get a hold of Volk. He's been really good at updating the guides. So a lot of the guides are updated to 5.9 or 5.10. Like, he updates them each patch with the original author who wrote it. Yeah, a lot of the Delphi guides are 5.0. They'll mostly be the same. They're a good start, but they're not going to be 100% up to date. But it's much better than starting from like a 3.0 guide or something.
Yeah. Where's them skill trees at? I can't find them.
So if you are just recently reached level 70 and you really want to get good at playing your class, the class guides are what you use to learn all your abilities and learn when and how to use them. Keedley, I think it is a good time to start wrapping this stream up.
Cool. So yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's sort of our 2018, 2019 recap and thoughts. So I do hope that everybody enjoyed the stream. Once again, thank you to all of the new followers, the bit givers, and the subs. Nami Gal, if you're still here, thank you very much for those as well.
For those of you who it's your first time being on a live stream, first off, huge thank you to Kid Lee for doing all the technical work and setup for this. He's the one who makes it happen. And if you want to show your support and your thank you to him would be to press the purple subscribe button at the top of the page. It's similar to, follow?
Yeah, follow.
Follow button at the top of the page, and it's similar to subscribing on YouTube, and it really helps his channel grow as well. I'm really glad so many of you were able to join us for this 2019 Wishes and Dreams stream, and I hope you guys have a really, really fantastic 2019.
Yep, absolutely. So my next stream will be tomorrow. I will keep you guys updated on social media and Discord on when that is going to happen. Do you have any videos or anything special coming up?
I always have something awesome coming up. No, I have nothing I want to announce, so.
Okay, cool. Well, once again, thank you all so much for watching. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye!